anyone can do it, he can. Nakamura! He has done it! Isn't that just typical? Riley, Noah up for the pass. Jota!
Hello and welcome to Voice of the Boys episode number 9. Nine. Famous number 9s.
Lee Griffiths, currently Haksabanovic.
Ah, well.
Gorgeous George Samaras.
Now that's enough for that. We'll go with Lee Griffiths. Well, I know, but Lee Griffiths and Haksabanovic kind of changed the mood.
Alright.
Well, this week we've got a very interesting episode, a very solemn and kind of sad episode. We're going to hold a wee 10-second silence for Celtic's League Cup hopes.
Well, actually, 10 seconds already.
I'll do it, we'll go with that. So I was just trying to make a wee light joke of that there. So Chris, what have we got to talk about this week?
Obviously, we're now at the League Cup. We could mourn about it, we could say what we want about it. I think a lot of Celtic fans are now under the impression of looking on Twitter that we're not entitled to a treble, but a lot of Celtic fans are now annoyed at the way we went out. Obviously, I think a lot of people are now saying break the bank, which we will touch on transfers coming up. I don't think there is a lot to touch on. I have had to search quite a bit for a lot of the information, but before we go into transfers and things like that, as always, we'll start with the game. 1-0, Marley Watkins goal. I'll run through the negatives and I'll run through all the negatives and then we'll touch on it at the end, right? I've got Maeda and Abada non-existent in the wings all game, especially I don't know if you remember the chance where Maeda could have broke with the ball and
he just puts the ball
into space.
I don't know if he was maybe picking up, I don't know if he had maybe a wee bit of an injury there, because we usually see him drive into space. So I don't know why it was out of character, really out of character there for me though.
The loss highlights places we already knew we needed to invest in, such as left back, goalkeeper, backup striker or starting striker for the Champions League. Kyogo, as much as he didn't receive the service, was dropping far too deep. I think for a striker as well, especially playing a one striker system, you need to be up the park. There was points where he won the ball back and he was with the centre backs. Now that's good, winning the ball back, but who are you going to play the ball up to? You need someone up the park to play it to. And as we go any further, as if any Kilmarnock fans stumble across the page, or any football fans, credit to Kilmarnock. They played their system well. We knew they were going to do that because they played that against Rangers. 5 behind the ball. Dees, what was the boy that used to?
Robbie Dees.
Is it Taylor? I think it's. He done really well, the centre back.
I think they played well. They executed their plan the way they would like to execute their plan. The way they played is the way they envisioned it, and I feel like maybe they were a wee bit. They would have been a wee bit confused to why they had as much time and they had as much space to play the ball and work with the ball as they did. Celtic didn't create a chance, a shot on target until about, I think it was like 60 minutes or something. I seen like there was barely any shots on target. We weren't creating chances. They must have felt a wee bit relieved.
I think there was a lot of. Well, before we go any further, Naroki's out injured, so we don't have any centre backs.
Naroki's out injured. It's a hamstring tear. It's what I've seen. They don't know what grade it is. But if you look at the other players with hamstring tears on the team, and they're out for about 3 months.
Great.
So if there's anything to look at,
Lagerbielke looks as if he's your only centre back, which we were. Paradise Plaques, where you can find all your merchandise, Celtic memorabilia and stickers. Go to
www.paradiseplaques.co.uk for all your Celtic stickers. Thank you very much.
We'll touch on it in a minute. And I didn't think Naroki played that bad. I think these guys have just came in the door, especially Lagerbielke and Naroki.
They're under pressure.
Yeah, they've been chucked in a wee bit. They've just met each other and been told they're playing centre back next to each other. It's not fault of their own.
Not as if that's happened many times before, eh? 2 centre backs being thrown into games and thrown in right backs and left backs. Look, in all honesty, I don't think that they were as much to fault. The goal that we conceded was a really bad goal, and whoever lost the man, at the back post and allowed the man to come in, Molly Watkins, and score with that much space. You know, fair enough, that was a wee bit of a mistake. But for the rest of the game, I don't think they were that bad. I don't think it falls in the defence really, you know, except
but for
from
us to go through a full 90 minutes and not to have a shot on target.
well, this is where it more lies. It more lies in attacking football, I'd say, than the actual defending. I know that a lot of people are frustrated with Greg Taylor, and I can kind of see why, you know. But we're missing Alistair Johnson. Look, he's a really big part of the team as a leader and as a football player. His quality.
He's only been here 8 months, and it's mad, isn't it?
You can see when he's not playing. Cameron Carter-Vickers, you can see when he's not playing. And as bad as it is to say, you're looking for Joe Hart to step up in these situations, and I just don't think he is. He's the most experienced member of that back line at the weekend. You know, Premier League's under his belt, goalkeepers of the year. He needs to step up there and he needs to command the defence. 2 young guys. 3, you can count Taylor. Taylor's still younger. No, he's not as young as. Still younger. And at right back, we've got Anthony Ralston, who is a bit more experienced, but I don't think he's a leader. He's up there for it, but he's not a leader. You need Joe Hart to step up there, and you need Joe Hart to inspire the team. I just don't think it was coming. There was too many times where we've seen the ball come out to the defender, and they'd look about, play the ball backwards, sideways. It was as if we'd been back a couple of years ago, and we were playing this very negative, slow building football.
Callum McGregor's another one, as much as we're talking about leaders, who I think
Had a wee bit.
he's had a honker the last two. And it might just be adapting to a new style, but Cal McGregor doesn't usually struggle with that.
No, usually, and he's played under Brendan
Rodgers
Rodgers before. So
I
think it's maybe it could be. There's 2 things I could put it down to: bad form happens to all of us, or a wee bit of fatigue. He maybe needs a small break. I can't think. He's not lost his talent overnight. We know that. So it's either one of those things. He's either fatigued and he's tired, which we're only playing 1 game a week at this point. I can't see why he'd be fatigued and tired. Or he's just like the rest of the team. You usually find when 4 or 5 players have a bad game, it brings down the performance of those around you.
I think you've hit the nail on the head there. You can't expect Callum McGregor, as much as the captain, he's done it for such a long time. As we've rightly said, Joe Hart is meant to be a leader and an experienced guy. There's meant to be guys like that around about the changing room. I think losing someone like Aaron Moy as well, as much as he was quite a quiet character, he had the experience of playing in the Premier League. He scored goals at the World Cup, things like that. Daft things like that. You've got someone you can turn to, rely on. I think now you're looking through the experienced heads. Joe Hart, for me, is not doing enough. Callum McGregor, I think's had 1 or 2 bad games.
And this raises a big point of what you're saying right here. We're paying a guy 20 odd grand a week, or however much we are paying James McCarthy, and we do not know. We think he's injured. Apparently he's injured. He was on the injury list that somebody's put out on Twitter, but we don't know. And you think that he would be a big name and he would try and inspire the team. And these are the kind of games you think when you're struggling to beat Kilmarnock, a guy like McCarthy can come on. Fair enough, he's slower than the rest of the guys around him, but you know, that experience, maybe that wee bit of game experience. He's been in these positions where it's been 0-0s and you've been losing 1-0 and you've needed a goal. You think this is the games where you've brought him in for, you know, maybe bring him on for the last half an hour and he could do something for you, you know, inspire the team, push them on. But it's looking like an absolute waste of money that we're paying him every week. And I don't know why he's not been moved on yet. I think it was a 5-year contract.
There's more ways. There are 4, but there's more wastes of money than James McCarthy.
No, definitely is. But
Jetty, Sorrow. We'll come on to transfer soon. We're going to talk about the positives, but just touch on it briefly before we go any further. The amount of money, obviously, we want Celtic to break the bank, and just the same as anyone else, I've rightly said about it being it's going to be at the end of the transfer window. Now, remembering deadline day 2 years ago, we brought in Carter Vickers, Jota and Jack O'Makis. It was one of the best deadline days we've had in a long time. Yep. We tend to do a lot of business maybe around the deadline day, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't.
I think it's kind of worrying the fact. I think everyone's...
It's very worrying. But I have said since the start of the window, next week it could be totally different, but I said since the start of the window, this is going to be like a game of chess. We're going to take our time. We can't afford to go into bidding wars. We'll touch on stuff like that coming up, but the issue is we want to spend so much. There's still a lot of money sitting in the club on wages and things like that. See, to be perfectly honest, we paid off a guy like Nietzsche because he was a bad influence around the team. See, if you don't want these guys round the first team, and instead of sending them to work with the under 21s, pay them off. Go, bye.
Yeah, it's good.
We paid 2 million to Nietzsche. You're going to pay about that for Sorrow anyway. He's not going to be on a lot of money. Guys like Sorrow, McCarthy, they're not going to be in high wages.
I think the problem is that some people in the boardroom like their money a wee bit too much and are they'd rather just let contracts run down than actually get rid of people. But look, at the end of the day, that's whatever. That's nothing to do with us. We're not in the boardroom. We never will be. But look, I think there's a lot of panic. There's a lot of worry. There's a lot of overreaction. Everyone wants to go to Brendan Rodgers' house and string him up by his toes or something. I don't think it's that much. It was a bad performance. I don't think you got one positive here, and I think that is the only positive there is. I don't think there was any other positives for me. However, look, see next week, this weekend when we're at home. Let's just see how the performance goes then. And then if there's 2 bad performances in a row and it's really bad, then we can start worrying. Until then, let's just chill a wee bit. We're out of the League Cup. Look, it gives us more time. So when teams are playing 2 games, we are going to have time.
For me this year, if it was Ange who was still here, I would have loved another treble, right? But if it was Ange who was still here, I would have went, right, let's see what we can do in the Champions League and let's win the league again, right? And the way that Scottish football's going, especially another once again shout out to how brilliantly Hearts and Hibs done the other night. Aberdeen are definitely going to have European football. It looks as if, and I would love to see Hibs beat Aston Villa, but it's not going to happen. I think Hearts maybe could get
Hearts could get us out.
So it looks as if you get 4 teams in Europe. It's the way that Scottish football is going. If we win the league every single year, we're in the Champions League straight away. So that's the way that the coefficient just keeps pushing.
Yeah, that's what we're looking for.
And it helps us progress.
Hopefully we can actually add to the coefficient this year. Maybe a wee win in the group stages, or a wee 2 wee wins. Might be decent. Maybe finish third. Look, we're looking to finish third.
If we finish third, I think that's more than anything. We'll touch on the positives from the game because we could fall down rabbit holes as usual. Obviously, Lagerbielke made his competitive debut and Thiago Holmes started his first game. Yang and Haksabanovic coming off the bench
sped up the game a lot and increased the momentum and the movement.
For the weekend, I'm going to be bold and say this. For the weekend, we play St Johnstone, who are bottom of the league, and I'll come on to that when we touch on it. We play St Johnstone at the weekend. Haksabanovic and Yang for me need to start. They both
need
have
to
to start.
Haksabanovic on the left and Yang on the right. Or you can start Haksabanovic from 10.
Yeah.
Whatever you want to start, but I think there are 2 players there who have had great performances and need to start the game. I think that by looking at what happened there, when they came on, they improved the workflow, they improved the speed. I think, no offence to Dazmade and Abada, it might just be like we said with Carl McGregor, playing around everybody else is reducing their quality for the one game. But look, give them a break, bring on these guys who are showing games that they can come on and they're fast.
And we'd said as well, like we're not saying Abada's had a bad. I thought Abada could have been your player of the season, but when we started, I thought Abada started brilliant. Yep. Dazmade playing in Japan, I think he looks a lot better playing for the middle. I think on the wing he looks weak at the minute, but that's why you've got a big squad.
Yeah, I mean,
Haksabanovic and Yang need to play.
Yeah, Haksabanovic is looking frozen out for a while. We couldn't say a wee back for Haksabanovic if he was left out squads, and you said if he didn't play in these next 2 games, I think it was 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, I said
if he doesn't get a game in these next 2 games, like he might be gone. Now we're looking at a point where you might not be able to get in him, he might be a vital part. And I think, look, a lot of people compare, I've seen stats about Haksabanovic earlier and it was saying something like he'd played 40 games for Celtic, he'd get 5 goals and 4 assists. When you actually look at the stats, he's only played
the minutes.
He's only played the equivalent minutes of 14 games.
So,
and he scored 5 goals and 4 assists, which actually, if you compare it to that, isn't actually that bad.
That's what you need to look at.
And
don't just look at he's made 40
appearances. Yeah, he's made 40 appearances.
Because Ange was very much, this is my team.
Yeah.
Haksabanovic will come on for 15 minutes, 10-5, and it didn't make any sense.
And when he came on, sometimes he looked brilliant. He looked fantastic.
And when he came on, we should have had a penalty.
And the thing is,
he won a penalty. He should have had a penalty.
The first time Haksabanovic goes down was a dive.
The second
time he goes down, there is contact. There's no contact in the ball. Is he maybe slightly off balance and going down before the contact's made? Yes. However, is there a chance he can retain the ball if the contact isn't made?
Yes.
Yes. So by the laws of the game, it should be a penalty. We're not going to go any further than that because we lost the game. We didn't deserve to win the game. No. So at the end of the day,
for us as Celtic fans as well. Now this is I would expect the exact same from any Rangers fan or any Rangers podcast. See, for us to sit there and get to 90th minute and to be crying for a penalty to take this to extra time,
that's
not
embarrassing. That's not good,
right?
enough.
And obviously, as a penalty, we hit the penalty, we score, we don't, we go into extra time. What happens. But for us to go through 90 minutes for the only shot on target to be a penalty kick, do you know what? Kilmarnock going to go through, we don't deserve it.
No,
and I would expect that of any fan of any big team. That's not just Rangers and Celtic. That's if Man United played Wolves, and that only shot on target was a 90th minute penalty.
Yeah, I know. Well, look, I think down there things are a bit different now. There's a lot of teams struggling, but a good result for Man United the other day.
Big Ange doing us proud. We knew it would.
A lot of people are claiming now. They've been claiming he was God all along. Ange Ball's
No. We knew that Ange was going to do well. We always knew that. We hoped it would do well. Look, but as we say when we talk about Jota, Ange, they're not a part.
They're not a part. They're not a part.
And do you know
if
what?
you're looking for some betting tips, Tottenham are going to concede some amount of goals this season to bigger teams, and they're going to have some amount of shots. There's going to be shots all over the place, so 7 or more shots in a game, because neither Man United or Tottenham could defend to save their life. The amount of chances in that game was crazy. And you know, this is probably kind of what we've seen with ourselves in the Champions League, and I feel like Ange has now went down there and he's trying to implement this same style of football, and he's going to realise very soon, I believe, that look, you can't do this against the bigger teams.
For this, you need, as I say, a good spine. Celtic spines, Carter Vickers, McGregor, Kyogo, big man Carter Vickers.
Just touching the European Cup.
I think that
you're right. I think you're right. Look, the two positives were Yang and Haksabanovic, and they were the only positives. And for Haksabanovic, he might look at that as, look, this might be my chance. If I come into the team and I make a good impact, you know, we might see Diaz and Maida fall to the bench. You know, at the end of the day, Diaz and Maida, Lila Bada are not Brendan Rodgers players. No. Neither's Haksabanovic, really, but, you know, the way it looks is there's no favourites. Anyone could play. If you're good enough, you play. Still got Marco Tilly to come back 3 weeks. But the injury list now we're looking at is about as long as my arm, and they're mostly centre-backs. We're going to move on to this interesting part whenever I read it, but
yeah, we'll touch on it. So
just touch on it.
Wingers, obviously, Jack's just touched on. Obviously, a lot of you guys will know because it's been heavily reported from many outlets. Daniel Podence is linked with a transfer for around 8.5 million and currently training with the Wolves under 21s. Daniel Podence obviously being a winger who he's played for the Portugal national team.
I believe he's had an appearance, or not many appearances,
and plays for Wolverhampton Wanderers. I think he's someone that we would obviously love to have at Celtic. I think with us going round the sort of big signings, I think he's one of those ones that, look, we need someone 8.5, 9 million for the Champions League. For me, if you go to the Champions League with the current squad and don't spend a wee bit of money before the end of the window, you're going to get found out. As I said, Celtic are relentless for spending money in the end of the window, and when Brendan Rodgers got asked about it, Brendan Rodgers said no comment.
Change this total tune. About a month ago it was, we're not spending 15 or 10 million, we're not spending a lot of money. Now he's saying we need marquee signings who are quality. Now I'm just going to go through this here. We're talking about a guy who moved from the Portuguese league to Wolves for £20 million. Mm-hmm. Oh no, sorry, didn't he move from Olympiacos? He was Olympiacos. Okay. He went from Sporting Lisbon to Olympiacos for £7 million, then he moved to Wolves for £19.6 million. This is a guy who is a quality player. He's 27. He's only scored 12 goals in the Premier League with 6 assists, but I don't think that's the kind of player he is. Oh, it's the group chat. It's the Celtic group chat. He's a kind of player who he's going to come on. He's got tricky feet. He's not as fast as Jota, and his feet aren't as fast as Jota, but he's a guy who likes to take on a man. He'll take on a man and go past them, and the goals he scores when he does score goals are always quite good. You know, the quality that he puts out in scoring goals are decent. This is a guy who's played in the Premier League. He isn't playing in the Premier League for nothing. He's playing the Premier League for a specific
He's a good quality,
reason.
but I think as well,
he's out of favour now.
Who's the new Wolves manager? They just got rid of Lopetegui, was it or something? No.
They got rid of Lopetegui, who was the Spain manager, and then he went to Real Madrid. He was at Real Madrid for like 3 months or something before they sacked him. He was at Wolves. They've got rid of him. The manager of Wolves right now is
Google's our friend.
Loading up. Transfer market best friend. What does it actually say? Doesn't say.
I don't really care.
Who cares? Look, whoever it is, please sell us Daniel Podence. The talk is £8 million. The talk is £8 million. £8.5 million. Look, can Celtic afford £8.5 million? Yes. Is he on 70 grand a week? Yes. Will he take a wage reduction to play in the Champions League and get constant game time? Possibly.
I wasn't a confident. Yes, that was that sort of.
Well, come on, look. A lot of these guys have egos. Coming from the Premier League, coming from anywhere, they're on 70 grand a week. You've got a wee bit of an ego. Do we have Callum McGregor who's on about 50 or 60 grand a week? Yes. Would he be on more than Callum McGregor?
Callum McGregor's definitely taking a wage increase signing that contract.
Yeah, he has to. He's now the highest paid player in Celtic history, I believe, from what they were saying.
Right, okay, so there you are then.
He's on more than he's on more than Brendan Rodgers was on in his first contract.
Right, there you are then.
So but if he's on 50, 60 grand a week, will Daniel Podence get more than that? No. He possibly might get about the same, but I don't think we break the wage structure and give him more than Callum McGregor.
Nah, correct.
But look, it's all, see this, it's right now, we're just sitting and it's getting reported from all these different places, and honestly you don't know what to believe, because you're looking at it and sometimes it's happening, next minute it's not happening. Oh my god, well it's going to get worse. Right, on you go.
Obviously keep on the theme of wingers. Patrick Roberts is in his last year of his Sunderland contract and is linked with a move to ourselves and Southampton.
That is a step backwards.
No, I wouldn't want Roberts back.
Step backwards.
So he's linked with
he's not a good up.
He's linked with a year in his contract to go, so obviously papers are wanting sold. He's been linked with Celtic every transfer window since he's left. Nothing new here.
No.
Kieran Tierney not included in the Arsenal squad.
Looks like his time's done at Arsenal.
Newcastle were going to make a move. I think they're going for thing with Lewis Hall or something from Chelsea. Celta Vigo's been linked to him. Please, Kieran Tierney, come home. And if you can, gonna grab Jota from Saudi Arabia and all. Get the pair of them in.
I must have reckoned it would be down to the way. It'd be down to the club transfer offer. It's not going to be down to the wages. I think Kieran Tierney would take anything to be back at Celtic. I don't think that's a problem. The problem is, what do Arsenal want for Kieran Tierney? Are they going to let him go on a year loan? Doubt it. They'd rather get the money in and spend it on someone else. Do we have £30 million spending Kieran Tierney? No chance.
I think it's going to be you could negotiate with Arsenal, because they're looking at what they'll be paying in wages. You could probably get him for about £10 million, £11 million, and that's not me saying that. It's in. I'm coming up with those numbers. Arsenal want this guy off his books. They're playing Tommy Asu and Thomas Partey and out of position and things like over him.
You know, looking at they're playing guys like Tommy Asu and they're playing guys like Zinchenko and left back, and they've got a natural left back there who is good quality. It just appears that Mikel Arteta does not favour Kieran Tierney. I think whenever Kieran Tierney plays for Arsenal, he's got that wee mistake in him. He's made a couple, but he's usually a solid left back.
He was the best defender for a period of time.
He doesn't make many mistakes. Look, I know they've just signed Jariah Timber, and he's now injured. So you think, look, you'd be crazy not to at least put Kieran Tierney in the game squad somewhere.
Well, they had their squad of 21, is it, or something yesterday, and he wasn't in it
If they don't want Kieran Tierney, we'll happily take him back. We'll take him back.
We'll have him.
And I think for Kieran Tierney, that would be brilliant for Greg Taylor. Well, look, that's the way life goes.
It's the during the fat scene, is it? No, it's trying up the road. I
don't think Greg Taylor would be angry, I believe, because look, he's tried his hardest and he's put in some good performances. He could have been your player of the year last year.
I think as well with Kieran Tierney, as well as we're talking about, we don't have centre backs available, which we're going to touch on in a minute. Left centre back. He's played left centre back for us before. He's played left centre back for Scotland. He's played left centre back for Arsenal.
Now, is this the move we're going to see? Could it be on a 6 month or a year loan before the end of the season? As we say, look, right now we don't know what's happening.
Please, we'll take it.
Dermot, if you're watching again, I know you watch.
Dermot, we know you watch. Do you know what he does? I think he sits with Michael Nicholson with like a bowl of popcorn or something. And see if he wants to pick Michael Nicholson's snack. What do you think it is? Michael Nicholson's been good for us so far. He's like a Pringles sort of man, I'd say.
Pringles and Maltesers, but he mixes them. So he's got the Maltesers, he's got the Pringles in the same bowl. You ever tried that? It's actually not bad, by the way.
And then you get Dermot Desmond. He's not been nice to us. What does he?
And then we've got Peter Lawwell. Peter Lawwell's hiding behind the sofa.
He's scared to watch our podcast in case what we say.
Yeah.
Anyway, Jota.
Two seconds.
Right.
There was a picture of all the board members at Kilmarnock. And the comments I've been seeing on Twitter about it, they have been absolutely getting rinsed.
Are you going to look for it?
I'm going to look for it.
Right, I'll touch on this
quickly. You touch on this quickly.
Jota has been released from Saudi Arabia. We're seeing a lot of things on social media about him. By the looks of it, he's going to be released by Saudi Arabia. This is...
Released for free. He's going to be released for free. They paid £25 million for him. They're going to release him for free. Because the talk is they're going to try and sign Mo Salah, and they can only have a certain amount of international players.
Right.
And Jota turns out to be the cheapest, but maybe not the worst, but the cheapest. You're not going to get rid of Karim Benzema, you're not going to get rid of N'Golo Kante, and the other players they've signed, they're not going to get rid of them. So Jota, unfortunate mate, you're going to get released. You're going to end up getting paid about £20 million or something, however much your contract's worth. but you're getting released.
He won't come back to Celtic.
The talk is Atlanta. Apparently Atlanta are interested in him. Atlanta obviously play in Serie A. They do have more money than us. They can afford to pay players. I mean, a couple of years ago, they the boy Gomez.
Gossens or something?
Gossens. And who else? Gossens. Who else did they have? They had a big striker, did they not? Atlanta. Well, they got. I'm not exactly clued up in all Atlanta players, but they can afford to pay players a decent amount of money, probably more than we can afford to pay players.
He's not coming back.
He's not coming back.
Everyone put the button down. Keep it up because Kieran might come home.
Yeah, well, look, Kieran probably, but I think Kieran would be a bigger signing than Joe to bring home.
That's correct.
I think it's harder to find a top quality world class left back who can play centre back than it is to find a winger. You know, we've seen a couple of names on guys who are wingers, and there's a couple of guys out there who.
Your favourite, Ryan Fraser?
Ryan. He's actually under the table now. You just can't see him. So, no, I think you'd take Kieran Tierney back first. A lot of people might disagree, but I see a lot of people don't want Kieran Tierney back and stuff because they're big Greg Taylor fans. But look, you're talking about a guy who's versatile, a guy who's been brilliant for us in the past, and a guy who, look, he could come back to Celtic, play for a year, and you could see him getting another offer if he played well from somewhere.
I don't think
somewhere
take
abroad.
It. You know
he wouldn't take it, but they would be offered.
I think if he came back, he would come back. Right, Stephen Welsh signed a 4-year deal for the club and more or less signed the contract and the pending injured his leg.
In training, I believe.
In training. No, what he done was the contract's there, right? And we go, Stephen, can you sign that for us? And he dropped the pen. It was a Sharpie and it hit his toe, and that's him. He's done.
Well, look, I seen it. I was in work that night. I went on Twitter and I seen the picture of him sitting in
the hospital.
Here Miles or wherever he was. I'm guessing it'd be a private hospital Celtic used, but it looked like it was Here Miles or something. And
he's out for 3 to 4 months.
I thought it was a joke. I thought
I don't know.
It must have been precautionary, something like that. And now he's out for 4 months.
Brendan Rodgers said he wanted 4 centre backs to in the press conference to all be able to compete. So Carter Vickers is not going anywhere, right? He signed the Rock, he signed Lagerbielke, and he gave Stephen Welsh a contract.
Do we actually know how long Carter Vickers is out for?
He's just out until after the international break. Right. We've not got him for Ibrox. He's out until after the international break. So you're looking at it as in. Oh, sorry. You're just playing videos, just sitting scrolling.
No, I'm just checking. I'm just checking something on our socials. It's our video. Don't worry about it. I was just checking to see something.
So Stephen Welsh definitely is out for 3 to 4 months. So now your centre back options that I'll run through quickly.
And they said there was a ligament damage.
Right centre back, you can play Awata, you can play Alistair Johnson, Kobayashi's still there, Liam Scales, Dane Murray will probably be in the youth team still kicking about, and Lagerbielke. That's your centre backs you're taking to Ibrox.
Dane Murray's down in Pipes in the park.
That's your centre backs you're taking to Ibrox. We'll take a draw. Can we have a draw? Can we take a point?
Look, I don't think the way Rangers have been attacking, it's going to be that much of a
dread.
I think it's one of the best times to have your centre backs injured at Ibrox.
I agree, but
before Rangers improve their game, because look, I'm under no illusion. A lot of people think Rangers are totally rubbish now, right? They'll pick up their games as the season goes on. They always do, right? So do we usually. However, I think right now is the best time to go to Ibrox. Rangers are struggling to score goals. They're struggling to beat teams. This is the best time to go to Ibrox with injured centre backs. You wouldn't want to do it late in the season where there's not as much time to catch up points. If you're having to catch up points, or you don't want to lose points late in the season. Right now is the time to lose points. If you're going to lose points now. I don't think we will. Maybe a draw, but here's the thing. We need everyone on it. If you're Anthony Ralston and you're playing, please don't do anything stupid. Please, I beg, if you lose a goal, make it be a good goal.
It's like begging a dog when you go out not to pee in the carpet.
If we lose a good goal, I wouldn't be annoyed. But if we make a stupid mistake and somebody passes the ball across the box and we lose a goal from giving the ball away, I'm going to be raging.
What's that? Don't do anything stupid.
Don't do anything stupid, right?
Oh, you can't be any worse than John Joe Kenny. He gave them a corner kick that he scored from the halfway line.
Oh, well, let's go through the amount of people Diego lacks out. John Joe Kenny. I need to keep naming names. The only one who's had a good debut against him probably recently is Alistair Johnston.
No. Juranovic.
Oh, Juranovic as well. Sorry, there you go. That amount of people. Now we're going to have a guy who's come in, literally just flew in for... Is it Sweden Lagerbielke came from?
Elfsborg.
He's just flew in for Sweden The boy's just arrived in Glasgow. He's felt his first touch of rain for the sky. And he's already been pumped by Kilmarnock.
Oh, Jesus.
And now, to play the weekend in the league, that should hopefully be fine. Give him a wee bit of time to get back to the way things are. By the time we go on the 3rd of September to Glasgow, it should be fine.
I hope you're right. Anyway, after that enthusiastic William Wallace speech from
Please don't make a mistake.
from Jag, don't make a mistake.
We're going to have
do you know
it's
what?
me as William Wallace and it's Anthony Ralston in the front of the horse.
Aye. I'm like one of the wee guys in the back. I'm chilling. I'm sitting there. Anyway, right. Celtic are interested in Matthias Kvarsken Garden. I don't even.
He's also at Elfsborg.
no, he's not. He's a Brøndby.
Who's there's another boy at Elfsborg we're interested in?
Is there?
There's another boy at Elfsborg.
Matthias
I believe.
Kvarsken and would cost around $4 million to take him from Brøndby. He's 21, so he's younger than me. Brilliant. And has played 5 games for Brøndby, scoring once and assisting twice. He's a centre forward. This is reported by the Scottish Sun. Playing 5 times for Brøndby doesn't merit £4 million. Damn it, if you're still watching at this point, eating your pretzels, whatever you're eating, do not sign a £4 million striker that's played 5 professional games. Thank you. That's it. That's all I need to say. I'm not touching any more on this kid.
Definitely not a £5 million. Alec, please don't. Please don't.
No, I'm not
begging.
touching any more on this.
I'm begging.
I'm not touching any more on that. That's it. Done. Right. I'm not because
There's another boy as well, by the way.
I don't even want because this is at this point we're just who's he called?
Is that
Ah,
not?
it's
It's
Merlin.
Merlin. Sorry.
You're alright.
We've got a nice wee slideshow somebody's created of Livakovic, Daniel Podence,
We're getting snapped again.
your boy. That's your boy from.
Oh, that's it. I don't even
And Merlin.
Right.
Merlin the Wizard. We could be doing some magic in our
Right.
guy.
Great.
Oi.
Here we go. Right. Next one.
Everyone, Celtic fans, make it happen for the Bodo Glimt manager. Sack Brendan Rodgers. Bring in Knutson.
Right. Anyway, the weekend. Celtic. You've got no excuses not to win this one.
No excuses not to win this one, Jace. Watch that come back.
We
and bite us in the
are
arse.
playing St Johnstone, who are bottom of the league, on Saturday at.
There's only been 2 games in the league, by the way.
Oh no, we'll wait till I run through this. Saturday 26 at 3 o'clock. I've just checked the date there, just didn't know the date. 26th of April at 3 o'clock. Right, let me run through quickly, obviously, my fun part. They sit bottom of the league, losing 2 games. I know you've just pointed that out. They lost 2-0 to Hearts. The best part is they lost 2-0 to Ross County. Right, so we should be beating them. Right.
We shouldn't be beating. I'm not saying we should be beating anyone. We'll look for a result.
They look to be playing a lone striker up top and a system with Stevie May leading the line still.
Stevie.
Gutted a lot of their team in the summer and looking for experience through players like Ryan McGowan and Andy Constantine who are still there. Got rid of guys like David Weatherspoon, Murray Davidson, guys like that just got released. Players still in the books that they've got that might be familiar if you're following the SPL throughout the years is Dre Wright, Ali Crawford, Nicky Clark and Chris Kane. The big thing for them probably to start the season, the big talking point if you're a St Johnstone fan, they signed a goalkeeper called Dimitar Mitov. He's Bulgarian from Cambridge United. He's been the starting goalkeeper for the first 2 games. He's split a lot of controversy, I would say, so far, so he's someone to keep an eye on. Look, we go into this, if anyone goes to Celtic Park, I don't care who you are, Celtic Park should always be a hard game. We're playing bottom of the league. They've lost to Ross County. They've lost to Hearts. Celtic should win this. If they don't win this, we're all clipped. We're all done. I'll just as well watch an episode with Dermot Desmond next week. But surely, to God, we can beat St Johnstone at Celtic Park convincingly. Anyway, right.
Convincingly is a big word.
That's me. I'm looking to wrap it up. All I've got left the question of the week. You want to pop anything in? You go for it.
Look. We don't take.
He's going to kiss the mic, everyone.
We don't take anything for granted. Every game's a hard game. Every game's 90 minutes. You've got 11 against 11, and you're not guaranteed anything in life. We're going to go out at Celtic Park. We should have enough to convincingly beat St Johnstone. However, we're not taking anything for granted. This is going to be a hard season. We don't have a definitive 11. We don't have any centre backs apart from Lagerbielke.
I even think with Lagerbielke Kawata you would beat St Johnstone.
Look. You're very happy and you're very positive. I hope we win. I believe we will win, but I'm not saying anything.
Right.
I'm not sitting here claiming we're going to win. I'm not sitting
Perfect,
here
right, well I'll claim we're going to win, and then when we come back after winning probably like 3-2 or something with Kyogo's goal in the last minute, I'll go, see I told you we were going to win. Anyway, right, question of the week, referring back to obviously
Kyogo's doing knee slides on it.
I'm joining them. Pint of Tenants in one hand, that's what I'm sponsored by.
Carlin.
Talking about sponsors, before we wrap up today's episode, obviously we've had a wee advert in the middle of the episode. Paradise Plaques have obviously we purchased a sticker there from them. Once again, guys, check them out. They've been brilliant with us, and we hope to grow
Paradise
great
Plaques.
relationships with them.
Tam at Paradise Plaques, thank you very much. It's greatly appreciated. Please go on and get on to their stuff. We're going to do a giveaway, I believe, of a Kyogo print. Going to give away on behalf of Paradise Plaques. They're sending us it. But to get it, you have to follow Paradise Plaques. I want to see the following, because the stuff this guy puts out, the stickers and the prints are brilliant. He makes plaques. Obviously, he makes plaques that are brilliant. They're top quality. He looks, his stuff looks amazing. We're going to see he's sending some more stuff out. Please go give him a follow. It's wonderful, and we love the Billy McNeil sticker. Whoever he's created it, he's putting a lot of effort into these things, and they're absolutely fantastic. Keep up the good work. Please give him a follow. And look, if you're looking to spice up your Celtic bar, you're looking to spice up your man cave.
Spice up, Jesus.
Spice up with a wee.
This is like Homes Under the Hammer with Jack. Spice up
an
the
A1
house.
sticker of Billy McNeil. Please go have it a wee check out.
Right, spice it up, boy. Right. Anyway, question of the week. Obviously referring to the Sunderland. I'm going back on the Patrick Roberts link. So Celtic, obviously one of the best away days I've seen in a friendly game for a long time. We played in the Daffabet Cup final. We won 5-0. Remember, Celtic made more or less the stadium light green, and if you've watched the Netflix documentary, it starts off the documentary very well. So my question is, who scored a hat-trick that game? Leave us in the comments
Who scored
below.
a hat-trick that game? What I'm going to do is I'm quickly going to go over the question from last week.
Yeah.
We've had a couple of responses.
Yeah.
So, what was your first Champions League memory?
And I've named a good few. We obviously went to Germany last year, Manchester City. What have we got?
Mick Trick's back.
Hey, welcome
Mick,
back.
my guy Mick, thank you very much. He said, first qualifying against Ajax. He's not giving me a year.
We'll take it from there.
I don't know what age Mick is. This could be the 30s. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. But nah, it's a brilliant one, qualifying
Qualifying for the Champions League always means a lot.
Qualifying for anything. Look, we're not used to winning cups. We're winning the League Cup. But look, thank you very much, Mick, for that one.
Cheers.
And Andrew Barber says beating Manchester United. Now I assume that's
The Nakamura
free kick. If it's not, and it was like the 1910s, Willie Mealy's doing side flips and that, then fair enough, but I believe it's the Nakamura free kick. But absolutely brilliant. Some brilliant Champions League memories. A lot of guys were saying the 2-1 against Barcelona, that was quite a common one. 3-3 against Inter Milan, a couple of people said. Brilliant game. Final goal in that game was by our main man,
John Guidetti.
I just want to put that out there. And some fantastic Champions League memories. The draw's going to be this week. Not this week, sorry. The next 2 weeks, I believe.
Mm.
We're planning going away for one of the European away days. We're not decided what yet.
If you see us buy us a pint
And a pie. But
both.
Look, if anyone else is going away for Europe, we're interested to hear where you're going. Obviously, we won't know until we draw who we want, but it'll be interesting to see who we get, and we'll be there.
Yeah, we will. Thanks, guys. Thanks for another week's episode.
Thank you very much for watching.
What you think, and subscribe. Subscribe on YouTube, follow us on TikTok, follow us on Twitter, and follow us on Instagram, which has just newly been set up. So yeah,
Yep.
thanks, guys.
Thank you very much.